Let's take a moment and discuss how information is shared. There are many different forms of technology and techniques, process that we use to be able to share information with our coworkers, with our clients, and so on. Let's just discuss a few of these techniques. The first one, and a very common one, is shared drives. We've got some type of network drive, the O drive, the P drive, the S drive, the T drive, whatever you want to call it, some alphabetical character signifying this drive that we use, and we use it to store content, to store documents so that we can get access to it, so that our coworkers can get access to it, and so on. This one central location where we can create folders and store documents. Think about it for a moment. How's that going for you? A shared drive. Is anybody managing it? Is anybody up there with the shared drive police saying, hey, let's make sure we're creating folders correctly, we're using naming conventions correctly, you're doing versioning control correctly? Is anybody doing that? Or is it just kind of willy-nilly, everybody's throwing documents up there and making it up as they go? Think about that. But this is one technique that we all use to be able to share content. Here's another one. Very common. Emails. When was the last time you used an email? You probably just did. You probably do it multiple times throughout the day. And we share content through email. Whether it's just an email message that we're banging away on our keyboard, or perhaps we're attaching things to those emails. How's that go? You attach a document to an email, you send it out to like 30 people in the office. Well, how many copies of that document are now floating around in the office? What if somebody downloads it, opens it up on their computer, makes some adjustments to it, brings it back into the email, reattaches it, and replies to everybody? Now, how many copies of that document are floating around? And how many different versions of that document are out there in the office? Email. It's great. It's a huge form of communication. It's a very effective form of communication, but it's got some potential pitfalls that we need to watch out for. But one of our techniques that we use in sharing of information. There's another one. Instant messaging. There's lots of different tools out there for instant messaging. For me personally, I use Skype for Business. I've used Communicator in the past. I use a lot of Microsoft stuff. But instant messaging, right? It's great. You open up the instant message, you got your contacts right there. You can send off instant messages to people. You can even perhaps share your screen depending on your technology you're using, and so on. It's a great form of communication. But it's another one that we have. Another way for us to communicate and collaborate with our coworkers and so on. USB drives. I think I got like 6 of them sitting right here on my desk. All right, we plug these things in, we throw files on there, we unplug them, we walk away with them, we take them to the conference room, we take them on the airplane when we're traveling. We've got these USB drives. Seriously, I think I've got maybe actually 10 of them sitting here on my desk. And I've got a big brick, an external hard drive that I use as well. I remember when I was back in school and college, seriously, it was a brick. It probably weighed more than a brick. But I carry it around with me in my backpack and I plug it into the different computers I was going to and so on. It was great because I constantly had my projects with me that I was working on, but I had to take it out and plug it in everywhere I was going. Both Macs and Windows-based systems and so on. So it's another way for us to be able to share information. You ever lose one of those? Is it secure? What if somebody picks that up, they find it, they plug it into their computer? What did they just find? Think about that for a moment. But another form of a way that we can contribute towards sharing of information. How about internal mail? This is great. I'm in the office and there's multiple branches around and there's this big manila yellow envelope that sits up at the receptionist desk, and anytime I need to send something through internal mail, I go slip it into that thing or throw it into this tray that's going to be going out with the mail. All right? But it's another form of communication and sharing of information. So this isn't an all-exclusive list, there's definitely more ways. The telephone, right? You can get up off your butt and walk down the hall and talk to people face to face. There's multiple ways that we can communicate and share of information. Some being more effective than others, some being more accessible than others, right? You may have all of these plus more at your disposal to be able to collaborate and share on information. So sit back and think about these techniques for a moment. What are the pros and cons to each of these? Now, we're going to jump into SharePoint. Why SharePoint? Let's take a look at that.